Question: why do women always seem to walk away from the men who care the most? Why does being the nice guy, the one who gives, sacrifices, and does everything right, so often backfire? Pro tip: tell me in the comments, and if you're done being overlooked, hit that subscribe button. Most men think that caring deeply earns love. But the truth is, in today's world, the more you give away your energy without control, the faster you lose respect. Caring too much doesn't make you more lovable. It makes you less desirable. Stay until the end, because once you understand this, you'll never be treated the same again. 1. Attachment destroys attraction. Attachment is the silent killer of desire. When a man revolves his life around a woman, he mistakes obsession for love. He thinks, if I give her everything, she'll never leave. But the paradox is that the moment you make her your world, she begins to look for the exit. Because attraction doesn't grow in comfort. It grows in curiosity. When she knows your every move, every thought, every emotion, there's no mystery left to chase. Women crave security, but they fall in love with uncertainty, with a man whose world is bigger than hers. That's why the man who's always available loses to the one who's often busy building. Stop making her the mission. Be the mission. The man she can't stop thinking about is the one she can't fully predict. But what if your caring nature isn't the problem? What if it's the way you show it that ruins everything? 2. Over-affection feels like pressure. You might think constant affection proves loyalty, but to her, it feels like pressure. When every text, call, or gesture screams, "Please notice me," it tells her something dangerous, that you have nothing else to give the world but your attention. Love isn't about volume, it's about value. A well-timed compliment means more than 100 generic ones. A quiet moment of presence is worth more than 1,000 texts. When you give endlessly, your affection stops feeling earned. It starts feeling expected. And once she expects it, she stops appreciating it. Don't be the man who loves from fear of losing. Be the one who loves from a place of strength. When you can walk away from what you want, you gain power over what you feel. But there's a reason women pull away from men who give too much. And it's hidden deep in human psychology. 3. Hypergamy and hidden drives. Every woman has an instinct, not for money, not for fame, but for security. It's biological. Hypergamy is the quiet drive to seek the man who represents stability, confidence, and capability. So when you overgive, overtext, and overprove, you're signaling weakness, not love. She doesn't lose attraction because you're kind. She loses attraction because your kindness comes from insecurity. A high-value man doesn't prove his worth. He moves in it. He doesn't chase validation. He commands respect. And that quiet confidence is magnetic. Hypergamy doesn't punish caring men. It filters out men who can't stand alone. But even strength can turn into weakness if you let one emotion control you. And that emotion is love. 4. Emotional overload. Turns her off. Emotion is powerful, but when you let it rule you, it turns from power into poison. A man who panics over a text, who overthinks every silence, who argues from insecurity, loses her trust. She doesn't want perfection. She wants stability. She wants a man who can face fire without flinching. Because when you can't control yourself, you make her feel unsafe. And no woman stays where she feels unsafe. You don't earn respect by reacting. You earn it by responding. Every time you keep your cool when chaos erupts, you show her that you're not just emotionally intelligent, you're emotionally immovable. But how do you care deeply without becoming dependent? The answer lies in the balance between love and freedom. 5. The balance between love and freedom. Love dies where freedom disappears. When you give up your dreams, your goals, and your passions just to keep her close, you stop being the man she admired. She fell for the man who had a life before her, not the man who abandoned it for her. You think it's love, but she sees it as a loss of self. A relationship should never require surrendering your identity. You can love her and still say, "I have my own path." That balance of being devoted but independent is what makes a man magnetic. You were never meant to orbit around her. You were meant to walk beside her. And to walk beside her, you need strength, not obsession. 6. Strength over obsession. Obsession is disguised weakness. It's what happens when your purpose shrinks until she becomes your only goal. But real strength isn't about control. It's about composure. When you can love her without needing her, you become untouchable. Because the man who needs nothing controls everything. Obsession destroys love. Strength deepens it. Every moment you choose discipline over desperation, you become the man she respects and the man others fear. But there's a secret ingredient that makes strength irresistible. Mystery. 7. Why she craves mystery. Mystery isn't about playing games. It's about having depth. A man with layers, who doesn't reveal everything too soon, keeps her emotionally invested. When she doesn't know your next move, she wonders. And wonder is attraction's oxygen. You don't need to vanish to be mysterious. You just need to live a story she hasn't read yet. When you chase your purpose, pursue your goals, and stay unpredictable, you create gravity, the kind that pulls her in without effort. But even mystery fades if you let emotions make your choices. That's when everything falls apart. 8. Emotional decision-making dangers. The man who lets emotions dictate his decisions becomes a slave to chaos. He cancels his priorities, bends his values, and sacrifices his self-respect just to keep her happy. But that kind of love isn't love, it's fear. You must learn to feel deeply, but act rationally. Your emotions are signals, not commands. Every time you choose logic over panic, peace over impulse, you reclaim your power. Because no woman can truly respect a man who's ruled by his feelings. But every woman admires the man who can master them. So how do you become unshakable, no matter who walks away? The answer: controlled indifference. 9. Controlled indifference works wonders. Controlled indifference isn't coldness, it's composure. It's knowing your value so deeply that rejection can't break you. You don't chase closure, you become closure. When she pulls back, you don't react, you refocus. When she tests you, you don't fold, you hold frame. This isn't about ego, it's about peace. When your self-worth doesn't depend on her validation, she'll seek your attention even more, because true confidence is silent, not loud. But how do you build that silent power that makes people feel your presence without saying a word? 10. Building a magnetic aura. Your aura is your energy, the silent statement that says, "I'm enough." You build it through purpose, resilience, and authenticity. When you walk into a room grounded in who you are, people notice, not because you try, but because you don't need to. A magnetic man doesn't chase admiration, he attracts it, because he's aligned with his mission, disciplined in his habits, and calm in his storms. Every day you stay true to your path, you sharpen your presence, and the world, including women, can feel it. 11. Purpose over pleasure. The Stoic standard, pleasure fades, purpose endures. The average man lives for the weekend, the party, the thrill. But the Stoic lives for something higher: discipline, creation, legacy. When a woman senses that you're ruled by pleasure, she instinctively stops trusting your direction. Because how can she feel safe following a man who's distracted by every new temptation? Purpose gives you gravity. It roots your soul when emotions try to uproot it. When you wake up and live for mission, not validation, you become the man others orbit around. Build something that outlasts desire. Because when pleasure dies, purpose remains, and that's the flame that keeps attraction alive long after looks fade. But even purpose can crumble without one final ingredient: the rarest strength of all: detachment. 12. The power of detachment. Freedom from outcome. Detachment isn't coldness. It's clarity. It's the art of loving without losing yourself, giving without grasping, and walking away without bitterness. When you detach, you stop reacting. You observe. You understand that everything external, her love, her approval, her presence, is a gift, not a guarantee. Most men try to control outcomes, texts, feelings, timing, and in that control, they destroy flow. But the Stoic lets things be, and because he does, he holds the upper hand. Detachment doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you stop clinging. It's freedom. It's peace. It's the end of fear. The man who masters detachment doesn't just attract women. He commands life itself. Because once you learn to let go of everything, the universe starts handing you what is yours only. Conclusion. The Stoic path forward. Women don't leave because you care. They leave because you forget to care for yourself first. You lose attraction the moment you stop being the man you were before love distracted you. So stop trying to be liked and start being centered. Lead with strength, purpose, and quiet confidence. If this hits, drop an emoji in the comments. And if you're building unshakable self-respect, subscribe to the Stoic Guy right now. Remember, keep thinking, keep watching. And above all, keep evolving. If you're ready to walk the real path, the hard one, the good one, stay stoic, stay sharp, and hopefully I will see you in the next video.